this particular press briefing. However, we'll still go ahead and give you what we have prepared to inform the media on the activities of the first quarter that the Commission has been engaged in, the activities of the first quarter of the year. So let me go straight into the media brief for this morning. I'd like to welcome you all to this briefing where we are going to give you activities of the Commission undertaken in the first quarter of 2022. So let me once again echo the Commission's desire to achieve and have a Zambian citizenry that is engaged in the fight against corruption. As a Commission, we believe that curtailing corruption is not just about punishing the corrupt, but also bringing corrupt individuals to justice is necessary, and also to demonstrate that corruption is an evil, is an undesirable crime in society, and should not at all costs be tolerated. The Commission will therefore continue to discharge its mandate professionally, objectively, or in a non-selective manner without fear or favor. As the Commission arrests and prosecutes offenders, it wishes to reiterate government's commitment to remain resolute in fighting and combating the scourge, as recently reaffirmed by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, in his Presidential State of the Nation address that was done on 11th March 2022, when he declared the war against corruption and zero tolerance towards the vice. The Commission further notes the President's appointment of the Anti-Corruption Commission Board of Commissioners and the Director General, subject to the ratification by the National Assembly. These substantive appointments will enable the Commission with policy direction and leadership to respond to the urgent need to address corruption scourge in the country. The Commission has, however, strengthened its approach in tackling corruption through new strategies in its enforcement mechanisms, which include applying both conviction-based and non-conviction-based forfeiture of proceeds of crime, as well as the restriction and seizure of any property suspected to be ill-gotten wealth. This is expected to culminate into the increase in the recovery of funds and properties illegally obtained from the Zambians. The Commission is also elated with the timely establishment of the judiciary of the fast-track courts on the economic and financial crimes, as its existence will enhance the timely dispensation of justice by speeding up trial of corruption cases. Let's now get to the operations of the first quarter. So at the end of 2021, to begin with, the Commission received a total of 424 suspected reports of corruption. 186 were authorized for investigations and 103 cases were closed. The Commission recorded 36 arrests and 12 convictions countrywide. That was by the end of 2021. So in the just ended quarter of 2022, the Commission continues to build momentum in its efforts towards public sensitization, corruption prevention in public places as well as in private entities, to ensure that we put in place transparent and accountable systems of governance. Notably, the following programs were conducted. So under the prevention function, the Commission worked with the Ministry of Health in all stages of recruitment exercise of health workers under the Global Funds Program COVID-19. Secondly, the Commission is also part of the countrywide recruitment process of health workers. Remember, these two are separate exercises altogether. So the Commission has been working with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development as well in sensitizing local government officials in order for them to ensure that the Constituency Development Fund guidelines are adhered to, so that we can reduce opportunities of corruption in management of the fund and subsequently for its equal distribution within the constituencies where they are going to be dispersed. With regards to investigations, the Commission received a total of 306 reports of suspected corruption during the first quarter of 2022. Out of these reports received, a total of 148 were non-corruption related. Therefore, advice was subsequently provided to all those that brought these reports that are outside the Commission's mandate on how best to pursue the matters that were complained of. Of the 306 cases, 158 reports contained elements of corruption, and out of 158 reports, 132 reports were authorized for investigations. Some reports did not have sufficient details of the corruption offense to warrant any investigations to be conducted. And as such, 4 cases were referred to relevant institutions so that administrative action can be taken on them. The complainants in these matters were advised accordingly. By the close of the quarter, the Commission concluded and closed a total of 13 investigation cases. 11 arrests were also made countrywide, and the Commission had 61 cases before the courts of law, and 4 of the cases were concluded, resulting into 2 convictions. There were 6 cases pending judgment. There were no acquittals whatsoever recorded in any case before the court of law in the first quarter of the year. It is also worth noting that during the last quarter, the Commission handed over to the government a total of 65,333,46 kwacha and 57,900 United States dollars in recovered funds and forfeited to the state in a case of being in possession of property suspected to be the proceeds of crime against Margaret Chiselam Sonda, alias Faith Sonda. Let's now turn to the status on some high public interest cases. Allow me to give you a brief status on some of these cases which have been in public domain, and some of you have actually sent us a number of press queries inquiring on the status of some of these cases. So number 1, possession of suspected proceeds of crime in the form of the house at Kingsland City against Margaret Chiselam Sonda, alias Faith Sonda. In this particular case, following her arrest, the Commission has come across additional information in this matter concerning the same Faith Sonda, and this information has led to extended investigations. Number 2, the case of the 48 houses, where a senior accountant at the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Loyana, and his wife, Mrs. Loyana, an assistant accountant at the Ministry of Works and Supply, were jointly arrested and charged with 2 counts of corrupt practices that involved concealment of property valued at over 37 million kwacha, which is property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime. This particular matter is before the fast track court. Number 3, the case involving illegal exportation of Mukula logs. The Commission arrested the Industrial Development Corporation IDC former Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Mateo Kaluba, and Zambia National Service Director of Operations, Maliwa Mwanei, for abuse of authority of office. A Lusaka businessman, Axon Tembo, was also arrested in this same matter that involved the exportation of Mukula logs without following laid down procedure. The accused persons are yet to appear before the fast track court. Number 4, possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime against former Lusaka Province Minister Bowman Lusambo and his wife Nancy Lusambo. The duo was arrested by the Commission, and they are currently facing charges of being in possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime worth $378,000 US. The matter is before the fast track court and is coming up on 17th May 2022. Possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime amounting to more than $539,000 United States dollars against PF Acting President Given Lubinda. Mr. Lubinda was arrested by the Commission and charged with the subject offense and is expected to appear the fast track court on 21st April 2022, which is tomorrow. The Honeybee case. The Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority ZAMRA Director General Bernice Mwale and Principal Regulatory Officer Brian Kabika were arrested and charged with willful failure to comply with laid down and applicable procedure. The matter is before the Fast Track Court and is coming up for ruling on 27th April 2022. Number 7, the social cash transfer case involving former Postmaster General Macpherson Chanda, former Finance Director Bess Mwaichi, and former Director Operations Isaac Kamwimba, who were arrested and charged with 13 counts of theft by public servants. The matter is in the Fast Track Court in Ndola. The accused persons were found with a case to answer and they were put on their defense, which is commencing on 21st and it will also continue on 22nd of April 2022, which is Thursday and Friday. The arrest of former Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Kenneth Malama and others involving the procurement of 50 ambulances. This particular matter is before the Fast Track Court and is coming up on 12th May 2022 for plea on and commencement of trial. The next case is on the arrest of the Managing Director at Development Bank of Zambia, Dr. Samuel Bwalia, for alleged abuse of company financial resources which were used to pay for school fees both locally and abroad involving over 1 million kwacha. The accused person in this particular matter is yet to appear before the Fast Track Court. The 10th case is possession of properties reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime against Lusaka businessman Emmanuel Mugala. This is in connection with possession of over 62 properties in various parts of Lusaka. The suspect was arrested by the Commission and he is expected to appear before the Fast Track Court on 21st April 2022, Friday. Investigations into alleged possession and concealment of properties reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime against former State House Press Aide Amos Chanda. In this particular matter, investigations have reached an advanced stage. Number 12, seizure of properties worth 22.8 million kwacha suspected to be proceeds of crime located in Lusaka's Shamba Valley area belonging to former Lusaka Province Minister Woman. In this particular matter, investigations are ongoing. So the implications of the seizure notice served on Mr. Musambo's property is that the Commission has taken total control of that particular properties and all the 8 pieces of properties that were announced to have been seized on Thursday last week by the Commission. And what this implies is that Mr. Musambo has had no access whatsoever to the premises since the Commission seized the properties. If Mr. Musambo tries by any means to sneak into that particular property, he will actually be committing an offense and the law will take its course. So we would like to emphasize that the particular property is actually in the hands of the Commission. The Commission has even placed police officers at that premises to guard it and safeguard any tampering that may happen to it, and so no one will be allowed to enter the premises, and it shall remain so until the investigations are concluded. So in addition to this particular case, the Commission, working with the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, has examined the wildlife, the animals that are actually at Mr. Musambo's premises, and found that the animals are unhealthy and need to be relocated to a more suitable environment. And the animals that are there include 7 impalas, 2 axis deers, 2 zebras, 2 puku, and 2 waterbacks. The Commission is also still making efforts through the lawyers of Mr. Musambo to ensure that he appears before the Commission. There are other allegations other than the possession aspect of it that he's facing currently. There are other allegations that have been leveled against Mr. Musambo, and we want his lawyers to avail him to the Commission for questioning because he has been elusive in the past few days. The Commission is also aware of some fake news that has been going around on social media alleging that the Commission sent officers to South Africa in an effort to seize properties that were suspected to be linked to Mr. Musambo. We would like to categorically state here that this particular story is false, very malicious, a total fabrication that is intended to mislead the public and actually bring the name of the commission into disrepute. We would like to make this particular emphasis that that story is false, because no officer of the commission whatsoever went to South Africa for this particular case to go and seize a property that is suspected to be linked to Mr. Usamba. So those media reports are just trying to sway the public's confidence away from the commission, and that particular story is a total fabrication. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, it is the commission's desire that the public owns the fight against corruption by getting directly involved in reporting all suspected acts of corruption to the commission and influencing others to desist from engaging in corrupt practices. Public and private officials should see corruption as an affront, as an injury on socio-economic growth. It is a cost to everyone, and it should at all costs never whatsoever be tolerated. So the Commission therefore wishes to appeal to members of the public with information of possession of any property they reasonably so believe to have suspected to be proceeds of crime, to report to the nearest Commission offices. And to this effect, a reward will be given upon successful recovery of any such properties. And we also want to encourage members of the public to please utilize the toll-free line 5980 on any of the mobile networks for the phones that they are using to make these reports at no cost whatsoever to the Commission. I thank you. Are there any questions?
Good morning, madam.
Okay, let's start with her, and then we'll come to...
I've followed the names of the prominent, some of the former ministers and prominent people you've mentioned in that. But we've seen Mr. Chitotela today at ACC. We've not heard him in the report. Is he being interrogated for anything, or it's just a visit? And then also, in most of the reports that you released, there is this word of a person acting with others unknown. Wanted to find out, why is it that in almost all the corruption cases, not almost, but some, we find the frequent occurrence of the word persons unknown? Yes, I wanted to find out.
Okay. As for Mr. Chitotela, we, as public relations unit, we're not really aware why he's here. If at all it has to do with the questioning, we'll get that information later on, and if there'll be need for the public to be informed of an update on that or what is going on, we'll be able to do that. As for now, we don't have any information as to why he could be here. Okay, and you also mentioned that we usually say while acting together with other persons unknown. How most allegations come about when they are brought to the Commission or an investigation is instituted by the Commission, you might not know everybody that is involved in that particular case. And some actions tend to point to the fact that this person could not have acted alone in order to commit this particular crime. So there are some flags that show that he acted with other persons. So not until those persons are known will you be able to mention him. So we say, whilst acting together with other persons are known, and it's very likely that some more names will actually come up. And in most cases, they do come up where we stay. Yes, Darius.
You mentioned that Mr. Usamba has been elusive following the summons that you issued against him. What are the implications of him acting in that manner? What are you likely to do to him if he continues doing that? And then also, you have warned that if he tries to sneak into that property there, will be committing an offense. Do you mind maybe telling us what offense he might be committing if he does that?
Okay.
And then my last question is, it's also true that you mistakenly seized the property belonging to former Attorney General, Kalaluka, as you continue with your investigation.
Sorry, just come again on the last question.
Is it true that the commission has mistakenly seized the property belonging to former Attorney General and
Okay. Let me start with the last question. Whether we have mistakenly seized that. I know that the former Attorney General has written to the Commission, and actually that particular letter is being studied by the Commission to understand and appreciate what he's actually saying in that particular letter, and then a response will be given back to him. And not until then will we be able even to answer any questions that relate to this particular matter where it has been written to himself. So we'll be able to give an update on that one as soon as we get what the position is in response to his letter. They are saying that if Mr. Sambo tries to sneak into the properties, what crime will he be committing? It will depend on what he's going to do. And then the appropriate section of the law will be applied, depending on what action he's going to take when he sneaks into that. Probably we wouldn't know what he wants to do within there. So an appropriate section of the law will be applied in accordance with the action that is going to take. Yes. I've answered all the questions?
No, you've not answered my first question.
Which was?
It's been a week plus or 2 weeks.
Okay.
The summons were issued, but he hasn't issued.
Okay, no, we'll continue talking to his lawyers and see how they're going to respond. We want to give them a benefit of the doubt. Yes, and for some time. So we cannot state at this particular point what we are going to do to him, but we have engaged his legal representatives so that he's availed to the Commission. And remember, this is a whole different case altogether that we are calling him for, other than the possession of properties only be suspected in the proceeds of crime. So we await to hear from them. Yes.
Yes, I'm Calvin.
From which media institution?
From Spring TV.
Okay.
Yes. Some people have been saying that some of these cases have been dragging. I would like to find out if there are some challenges that the Commission is facing in pursuing some of these cases, and if there are any, would you be in the best position to share with us some of the challenges you are facing, especially at the first one?
Okay. If you were very attentive, you would notice that of the high-profile cases, I think that those are the ones you're interested in that we've talked about. Only 2 are still under investigations. The rest are before the courts. So as far as we are concerned as a Commission, we are okay. And actually, I want to emphasize on this particular point that the fast-track courts have benefited us a lot, because most of these cases have now been taken to the Financial and Economic Crimes fast-track court, where they're being heard. And as far as they are going, we are happy because they are not delaying. Yes.
Maybe question.
Okay, him then. Yes,
Yeah, maybe in terms of the ACC investigating property beyond borders, is the ACC facing any challenges in investigating?
No, we are not.
Or are you investigating any?
I wouldn't be able to point at any at the moment particularly, but in cases where we have cases that we are investigating such beyond borders, we usually have mutual legal assistance agreements with those particular countries. So if we belong to the same region, if the African Union members of which most of the African countries are, it's not really difficult for us to carry out those because we have mutual legal assistance agreements with them, and it's not a problem to do that.
Social media has been awash with a particular story of foreign affairs minister having, being based in some activity to Sonoma and the Chinese ambassador. Have you taken interest in this matter, or has anybody come to you to say this case?
For that particular case, we've looked at what, and the Commission has looked at what has been said, and all the, I think it's a case that is being tried on social media, so to speak, where others are saying there's corruption there, others are saying they received a bribe and a gift. And if you look at what was displayed as having been received, those are promotional materials, isn't it? And when you look at the Anti-Corruption Act, when someone receives promotional materials from a business entity, there's no corruption whatsoever, because those are allowed according to the law to be received. But anything that may come up that would suggest that corruption would take place, as a Commission, will carry out a mandate and do what is necessary. but we are still also following. Of course, we are interested in following what is being said and doing our own investigations to see if there was anything beyond what has been presented. But looking at what was presented on social media, those are promotional materials, and we are yet to see anything otherwise.
Okay, my name is from Movie TV. Mine is basically, I just want to find out, because when you do post statements on different social media platforms, you see how people have lost confidence in ACC and the fight against corruption. So I want to find out, looking at now you're under the office of the president, how are you going to do it different, to restore that? My second question is just a follow-up. I don't know if it has been asked or not, but is it months ago, there was, I don't know if it's from your office, but I think it should be from your office, where a councillor was named in a bank acquisition and whatnot. How far have you gone? Because you're looking at this person you're under has assured his electoral people, the people who voted for him, that there will be transparency. So in that transparency, for transparency's sake, are you able to name the councillor now? Because we've given you enough time to maybe go further with the investigation. Where are we? Who is the person behind it?
Okay, thank you so much. We are talking about the public confidence being eroded in the operations of the commission. I think those, I would say it's an assumption that has been made depending on which social media platform you are following. Because I think if there was that little confidence in the commission, we wouldn't be receiving the reports that we do receive. People talk on social media, yes, that is true, but comparing to what the support that we receive from the public themselves, in as far as the cases, alleged cases of corruption, suspected corruption cases that are being brought to us, we believe we have a lot of followers out there, and people have confidence in us. That's why we receive those reports. I can actually reveal to you that we receive a number of complaints that are not even for the commission, because they have confidence in the institution that they will help them. And whenever a case is referred from the commission to another institution to be dealt with, people have come back to us to thank us that because you wrote a letter as a commission to refer this particular matter to this particular institution, my matter was dealt with speedily and in a transparent manner. So we do believe as a commission that the people still have confidence in us. And you indicated to say that now that we are under the office of the president, we've always been. It's something that has come out in the papers before to show which department is under which ministry. And the commission has always been under the office of the president, because those are the people that represent us whenever there's a cabinet meeting in terms of our welfare as a commission. So we do have the confidence. We still fall under the office of the president, and we do believe that we'll still have support from members of the public in the fight against corruption. Yeah, thank you. And a former ward councillor in Lusaka who was reportedly to have bought a bank, and together with all its assets. On this particular matter, I wish to report that there was no substance whatsoever in these allegations that were made, and so the case has since been closed. So just like it was a former ward councillor. So using our investigations to the bank that was allegedly being bought, we found that there was no substance in those reports, and the case has been closed.
Would you give us the name?
We wouldn't, because just like we did not name at that particular time, we wouldn't want to name now, because the method of investigation we used was to go to the bank and find out if at all there was any former ward councillor in Lusaka that tried to buy, and everything else, there was no substance in it. Maybe we can take the last two questions, then we close. Yes.
Maybe based on that, could it be safe to say that the SEC was alarming in the manner in which it rushed to announce that it was investigating such a case?
I wouldn't say so, that the commission was doing that, because at that particular time, the public wanted to know what cases we're investigating in the commission. We've been too quiet as a commission. What is it that you're doing to show us your work? So we'd like to know what reports you've received, because remember that was just after the August 12 elections. That's the announcement was made. So we're basically saying that these are the cases that we're investigating. And remember, I think what should be appreciated is the fact that an investigation can come out in so many different ways. And when we do not name, it means we want to find out what it is that transpired, who it was that was involved. If at all we are going to find out names. So we are basically informing the nation as a duty that we have to tell them what we are doing, so that we are not seen to be not doing anything and just being quiet. We want to interact with members of the public so that they are kept abreast on the cases that we are doing, and we are giving the outcome of what has been the result of that particular case. Yes. Okay, one last question. Yes, please.
So my question is with the number of investigations that the ACC is investigating, are we close to winning the fight against corruption?
I don't know what you mean by winning. It's quite relative. So when you say winning is when we see as a commission that the investigations that we are carrying out on cases that have substance end up in the courts of law, and there are convictions that are being secured there, we definitely do that. As a commission, we also do prevention exercise that we carry out in various government departments as well as private bodies. So if institutions are able to put in place mechanisms to prevent acts of corruption, definitely we'll be saying that we are winning, and we are imploring on these corporate bodies, public institutions, ministries and departments to put in place mechanisms to prevent any loopholes that could be there, seal them so that corruption does not take place. If the business entity can be carrying out their businesses in transparent and accountable ways, that way definitely we will do say that we are winning the fight. And so far we have the support of all these public bodies, ministries, departments and agencies to ensure that they want to put in place mechanisms to do that and seal any loopholes that they have seen that could allow corruption in most processes and procedures, because at points of service delivery where members of the public meet the service providers, that's where corruption usually takes place. So we want to see all those loopholes even in the procurement sector as well as any other sectors where corruption takes place. Also, when we are seizing, forfeiting these properties that are suspected to be proceeds of crime, and then it is proven that they are proceeds of crime, forfeited to the state, let them go back to the sectors that are suffering so that they can be enhanced. I'm sure we're all happy that 2,800 students at University of Zambia benefited from the 65 million kwacha. Students who might not have had that opportunity to go and learn because of not having the finances that they would have required. But now here we are helping the education sector in that aspect, and we're hoping that if we can do more and let the money go back to the sectors where they should, the people should benefit, it belongs to the Zambian people. So that's how we should all look at corruption as something that is very bad to the economy, that when the forfeited properties are taken back to society and the economy, then we are winning the fight against corruption.
Just one more last question. I know that you have mentioned that the former PS Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Malama, is appearing for the fast track court, which matter has seen several adjournments. I just want to find out, is there progress that has been made to arrest individuals that are supposed to be part of that case?
Sorry?
Is there any progress that has been made on the arrest of more individuals that are supposed to be part of, the case that Dr. Malama is appearing before court? I'm asking this because there was an application that was submitted that the commission will only allow trial to commence in the matter until certain individuals are indicted. I'm asking this also because I know that you have been investigating the former PS administration, like Akurubelo and Lalero. Is there any progress that has made? Has there been any arrests on the individuals that are supposed to be part of the case?
Okay, the arrests not yet, and I think just like the prosecutor mentioned in the court last time, the arrests are yet to be done. And I think you rightly pointed out that there was an application that was made. The matter coming up in court tomorrow or Friday, that's the ruling that is going to be made on that particular application, so that now the other part of the trial can commence.
So you can confirm that PS administration is being investigated?
That matter has been with us for some time. So I'm saying, like I was responding to Darius, to say that arrests have not yet been made, like further arrests have not yet been made. But the prosecutor, as he indicated in the courts last time, that is yet to come to the public when it is done. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience and for being here.
The special mention is that these copies, we send the soft copy on our platform. So we don't have to. We are sending the soft copy on our platform.